maybe he's going to be out a while, and then the team did not put him on IR. Very good sign, and you started to hear a little bit of optimism after a battery of tests that Christian McCaffrey took. The fact that he was able to practice Wednesday and Thursday and then told reporters afterward that he felt really good does mean he has a chance, at least, to play on Sunday. Different story, though, for Jimmy Garoppolo. He did not practice yesterday for the 49ers, still dealing with that calf injury. It's not a calf strain, it's a calf contusion. He actually got kneed in the back of the calf, which has made it a struggle for him to actually push off and just complete throws at practice. If he does not practice today on Friday, obviously he is not going to play against the very good Arizona Cardinals team on Sunday, which means we could see the starting debut of Trey Lance. Not what the 49ers want, but I think it's safe to say a couple fans would be interested in unwrapping a new first-round quarterback.
Fair to say. Thanks so much, Ian. Talk to you in a bit throughout the show with updates getting us set for Week 5 action, which kicks off early in London right here on NFL Network. Jets Falcons, 9:30 a.m. start. Now, the NFL loves music. It fuels us. It fuels players in the locker room. Sometimes there are anthems and iconic songs like Dreams and Nightmares that fuel Super Bowl teams to greatness, and we're celebrating that right now. The NFL loves musical artists of all genres, and we celebrate them through our song spotlights and artist takeovers. I got to sit down with the groundbreaking Meek Mill at Rock Nation in Jay-Z's boardroom in Manhattan, and he reveals the inspiration behind his new album, Expensive Pain, that dropped last Friday. He digs into his friendship and reform work with Robert Kraft and Michael Rubin, and gives his perspective on hip-hop's connections to America's game. Take a look. Come on in.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Meek. How you?
Okay, it's so nice to have you and meet you.
Already, nice to finally meet you, too.
You just cashed that entire thing of money. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you think I put too much?
No, I just am impressed by how much you can put.
I'm not in competition with my homies. I'm whipping in competition in the rollers. I knew my opposition never knew me. They wouldn't be opposition if they know me.
Expensive Pain. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
5th studio album. What does it feel like?
I feel like my best album. I was coming out of a long writer's block, a pandemic and everything, so I wasn't really doing music really deep into it. But when I broke out of it, I kicked into like a new talent of mine, I think, where I got a lot of new flows, and I'm like excited about the fans to hear like the music I just dropped, because it's the new side of me, you know.
Expensive pain, pulling expensive range. Neck got expensive chain. Yeah. I got expensive shooter. Yeah. He got expensive aim.
What is the new side of Meek Mill?
Just being more vulnerable, the way I express myself. You can hear my words better. And through all the times everybody went through the pandemic, the way things changed, me wrapping my thoughts up and being relatable to people so they can have something good to listen to.
Is there a theme?
Expensive pain is the theme. Like being at work away from your family. Like you might gotta go to work 7 days a week, but you want to be in the house with your kids. That's expensive pain.
Your music has inspired athletes for years.
Yeah.
How does football inspire you and maybe even your music?
Football inspired me just on all levels. You know, you got a lot of NFL players from Philadelphia that I seen that growth and watched them go from walking to practice every day to actually being on the TV. So that's just a motivation. For me, I was a motivation to them because they seen me rapping on the corner and actually come up to be able to sometimes be at the game with Kraft.
What is it like watching a game with Robert Kraft?
Watching a game with Kraft is a little stressful because it's his team and he really put his heart and his passion in his team. He really wants to see them win. So I always tell him, I'm like, if he lose a game, anybody could lose a game. I'm like, Robert, his wins and losses come with being bosses. Like, you got 6 championships, but he that much of a winner. He wants to win more. And me, I'm the same person like that. Just keep leveling up with my talents as much as I can until I can't anymore.
I need to get into this friendship.
Yeah.
What is it? How does it work?
Me and Robert's relationship stemmed from him coming to see me in prison at one time. You know, that meant a lot to me. I know how powerful Robert is. And when he did that, I built a connection with him. I started talking to him a lot, and you know, we just connected.
Your work with Reform Alliance really complements what the NFL is doing with Inspire Change. What are your goals for the next year or so?
Just to keep growing the Reform Alliance. We doing pretty well. Like, we changing laws and like freeing like fleets of people. Like, you know, they got probation laws where you might go to jail for just not even committing crime, like a technical violation. My judge sent me to prison for about 6 months, gave me 2 years of extra probation on my 10-year sentence, so it became a 12-year sentence. So we found out ways to like break those laws down so people don't go to prison for things like that. Even if you did commit crime one time in your life and you coming home trying to rehabilitate yourself, we want to be able to give you a fair shot. So we've been working on it with governors state to state, and everything been working out in a progressive way.
You were honored with the Nelson Mandela Changemaker Award, a huge honor for your advocacy, for everything you're doing for youth and for social equity. What did that mean to you to get that award?
Yeah, I'm very proud of that, to even be mentioned in anything that got to do with Nelson Mandela. My story kind of resonates, not powerful as Nelson Mandela, but it resonates along the same lines as his, and, you know, I appreciate to be acknowledged on that level.
I say, Lord, be my savior when it comes to getting this paper. People take me from my haters, just say me and I won't save us.
I want to ask you about Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We got the announcement, of course. It's hip-hop, it's Dr. Dre,
Yeah.
it's Snoop, it's Eminem, it's Kendrick Lamar, it's Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
It is the first Super Bowl halftime show headlined by hip-hop. What does that mean to you?
There's a lot of big things out here in the world. Hip-hop is just one of the big things that we creep in every household. Sometimes people even use us for therapy. You always gonna have different genres of music that'll come up and be big, but right now hip-hop is the one.
Are you going to be sitting there with Robert Kraft somewhere?
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
gonna be in
stadium
the
at
box
SoFi?
somewhere. I'm gonna be in the box somewhere. I'm trying to be performing at the Super Bowl soon.
Yeah,
You
that's
heard
a
me?
good dream chaser moment, right?
Yeah,
that
for
would be
sure.
amazing.
I'll be there soon.
We're manifesting that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch a Super Bowl one day.
I know you will.
He was so awesome. Could not be cooler. He's chill. He's unassuming. He made me feel comfortable right away. He's humble. He's a true artist. And if you love Meek Mill too, you can catch him live at Madison Square Garden. I'll be there October 23rd here in New York City. I cannot wait.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That hit a lot of
He's
different
cool.
notes.
He's great.
That was Kay, you sat with a lot of different people. What was unique about Meek?
I think when you walk into Rock Nation, it's so big. It's so like, oh, I'm at Rock Nation and gravitas, and it's so clean and swaggy and cool. And then Meek walks in and he wants his tea with his honey, and he's wonderfully warm and genuine and humble. Like, I'm like, what does it feel to get this award? He's like, I don't know. I never got awards. It wasn't even a thought in my head. The way I grew up, I didn't get an award for anything. It wasn't part of how I grew up. So it was really cool to sort of tap into that. And I mean, the way NFL players look at him is so cool too.
Yeah,
I mean, the rallying of the Eagles behind him. Nick Foles was talking about dreams and nightmares a year later when he was with the Chicago Bears. He was like, I played in the locker room to get hyped for that game. And then we're in Chicago for the Packers-Bears game.
Sure.
And it's kickoff, and Meek sits down. What does he play? Dreams and Nightmares. The crowd goes absolutely ballistic. By the way, Expensive Pain, the album, incredible.
It is.
We talked a lot about how he picks teammates, people to collab with. I mean, Lil Uzi Vert, Giggs, Moneybagg Yo. He has everybody on this album. It's awesome.
You did a great job. First of all,
Thanks.
great job with that piece. A couple of things I took away from it. His ability to self-scout himself. He talked about having writer's block, coming out with a new flow, because he's seeing how the rest of the hip-hop industry has kind of changed the flow up a little bit. He wants to stay relevant. To have that insight, to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, what I'm doing ain't right. Let me go ahead and change it up. That's what we do in football, and he's doing it in the music industry as well. And you talked about how it resonates with players. I think a reason why it resonates with players so much is because Meek comes from the same background a lot of these players come from. So he's speaking their language. And that song you're talking about has the best intro that I have ever heard of any hip hop song. That
We
Dream
talked
Chasing.
about dream chasing, and that's kind of it was cut out of the piece, but he talked about that. So I was like, why do players react to that song so well? And he did talk about just the familiar backgrounds and the idea that you can you can come from nothing, but you can be out here after everything.
And then his work with
that's what I was
prison
gonna say.
reform. I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's a credit
man.
to you too, Kev, for bringing that stuff out. The Reform Alliance, what they're doing is real work. It's not just, hey, okay, I went through this. Now, how do I pay it forward? And he and Mr. Kraft and Van Jones and Michael Rubin, there's actual work being done, which I think is a really important piece. You have that platform. You've been through this life experience. What are you going to do? And great job hitting on all that stuff, too, because I think that's the most important part. How do you pay it forward to the next generation, and how do you set the example? And they're doing it.
And they're
he talked
changing
a lot
laws.
about what it feels like to be supported by. Jay-Z is a mogul. We're talking about icons like Michael Rubin, and how does that work? Like, what does it feel like to even be supported by guys of that caliber that have that much influence? And he said that he just asks a lot of questions. He's like, all I do when I'm with Robert Kraft is ask him question after question. Same thing if he has a minute with Jay-Z. He goes, I've sat in this boardroom a million times, and we talk about this stuff and how to improve, lives and how to, let people come up. And he just said that he asked a ton of questions, which I absolutely loved hearing. And he's very humble. And I don't know that he gets enough credit for being an artist.
Very, very humble. And again, it's a reason why it resonates.
Meek.
In the locker room. Mostly, especially the black players in the locker room, we've had instances with police. Our family members have had instances with police. So to see him trying to actively get guys out of jail for nonviolent crimes, I mean, that's huge. I lost my dad for 12, 13 years of my life for marijuana, which is legal in almost every state now. Right. So, things like that, you want to have guys like Meek and Jay-Z and guys leading that charge. It's pretty cool.
That's so true.